Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Musings of Maverick channel. This is your host Maverick, and today we are finally beginning the second season of ReZero. I say finally, but those who are already my viewers and subscribers will know that I just barely made it through season 1 just in time for the second season to drop. In fact, I haven't gone through the OVAs yet since they're like an hour a piece, so I don't have time to work it in. I'll try to catch up to it as soon as possible. As far as I know, it doesn't really affect the main story, the flow of it, or whatnot, so I think it's not going to make that much of a difference, right? Now, with that being said, I'm sure that there are some new friends here as well. Welcome. So, just to give a quick introduction of my channel and whatnot, typically I like to do things where I divide my videos into 3 different parts. In the beginning, I will have my introduction or a recap of the last episode. In the middle would be my blind reactions, and in this case, they are truly blind in the sense where I've never even read any word of a light novel. And then finally, at the end, I will have my musings section, I like to call it, where I go a little bit more in depth as to what I liked and didn't like about the episode or a particular character, how the scenario was set up, talk a little bit about the mechanics of the world if possible, the concepts that are brought within this world, and also try to do a little bit of predicting as to what will happen in the future, right? Now, so far, my predictions for ReZero haven't really been on par with some other series because well, ReZero is a special case, right? Due to the abilities of Subaru, anything can happen. Events where you think the main character is safe, they're not really safe, and events where, you have this tension building up, that something wrong might happen, but in the end, the anime just trolls you and continues on as usual, right? But that's also part of the beauty of this series. By the way, if you guys are new here and want to see my season 1, feel free to check that out as well. And then finally, I do typically like to go through a little bit at the start of a new series in regards to the animation studio, the staffing, cast, and whatnot. In this case, however, there's not really anything to go through. It's the same studio, it's the same staff, it's the same cast, everything is the same as usual, right? So I think that just leaves us to get right into it. Now, with that being said, since the season 1 that I watched was actually of the director's cut, it has come to my attention that the ending of the director's cut kind of slightly varied from that of the TV anime. So I do think that at least for the first, I don't know, maybe 5 minutes of this particular episode, it might be something I've already seen before. So, is that true or not? Let's jump into it and find out. Alright, let's begin in 3, 2, 1, play. Oh, and by the way, the video and the timestamps, the timer is there to allow you to sync your own copy of ReZero to me, in case you want to watch along in real time. Okay, this seems familiar. So yeah, okay. Right, this particular scene was already added to the end of the director's cut. Now knowing this, I gotta say, I vastly prefer the way that they ended the director's cut with this huge cliffhanger. So I guess I can't say it's completely blind, at least for this first, maybe 3-5 minutes, something like that. Good bro. Ram. 'Oh man, I really can't say anything right now, just in case there are people who haven't seen this yet. Go, go, go. Hmm? Remunte. Dare no koto. Who is Rem? Alright, and this is the opening, I'm guessing? The new opening? Wait, is it? Oh no, okay. Man, it actually completely blew my mind that people did not, people that only watched the TV anime version and not the director's cut, did not get to see this cliffhanger. Hey, quit trying to hit on Rem, Kurush. Alright. Right, we've seen her smile before. I don't think we've seen her laugh yet, though. Alright, so what calamity befell them? Huh? Who are you? Whew. Holy crap. Damn. Is this a new archbishop? I meant, why are you acting so surprised? You saw firsthand his power already, Kurush. Oh my... Holy shit. Ah, Lutani? Right. Live batting Kaitos. Great, eh? Wow. Two at the same time. Okay, so we got Patel guest version 2 over here. Alright. Well, I am Rim. I don't really expect her to be a match. Even one, not to mention two. So, I mean, I could get that these two defeated her, but why is it that her presence was erased as well? So I guess their abilities is similar. They said that they were checking in on the White Whale, right? So I guess they have similar abilities? Wait. Her, her body is actually still here? Huh. I would have totally expected. So I guess it does. It is a little bit different from the white whale. Well, I guess even in past, it never was specifically. Oh, he's speaking about killing. Right. Just. Oh damn. Holy shit. But she's not dead, right? Yeah, anyways, as I was trying to say, even though I kept on assuming that even their bodies wouldn't be left behind, I guess it was never explicitly stated that the bodies would also be erased as well. Hey, Pop. You remember. Yeah, okay, it's just asleep. It's just asleep. Hmm. What? Ferocious. And she's permanently lost her hand. Huh? shit, even she's had her memories taken away. Oh my god. So why is there a difference between what happened to Rem and what happened with Karush? Oh, so her name wasn't eaten? Yes. Sleeping Beauties. And pretty aptly named. That was reminiscent of the old Karush. I mean, that's for Karush to make the decision. Hmm. Seems like she still retained her personality though. Or I guess maybe not personality, but like her core existence? Like her core essence is still the same. Oh, we're rolling the credits already? Damn, that's early. There's still hope. Kind of reminiscent to first season, while he was crying on her lap. Alright. There we go. That was the first episode of the second season. And man, I still can't quite get over the fact that the beginning of this episode, right, with the revelation that Rem's memories had been erased, or Rem's name had been erased from everyone else, was not actually put in the original ending of the television anime. So it was in the director's cut, but not in the TV anime. And I gotta say, I vastly prefer the director's cut, where they did put it at the very end there as one big cliffhanger, right? I just feel like it fits so much better with the entire concept and the feeling that ReZero gives off, right? This, not only just the concept as a whole, where you have to keep on resetting and resetting and resetting to make things right, but also how, you know, there's always these twists and hurdles along the way, and Subaru is always having to overcome nearly insurmountable odds to get through to the next stage, right? I just feel like it fits so well to have that big cliffhanger at the very end there, and honestly, I feel like that would drive much more discussion as well, right? Although, I mean, that is already, what, 4 years ago, so I guess we can just let it rest now, but still, I have to say I vastly prefer the director's cut where they put that in. And man, it managed to evolve into such a meme when it wasn't actually even in the anime. Like, that is ridiculous. That's ridiculous. Yeah. But anyways, so for this episode, we are introduced to two more archbishops who are probably going to be, well, probably not the main antagonist of the series, but at least our first enemies, right? Greed and Gluttony. And so I'm guessing that the White Whale, especially since they mentioned that the White Whale was a pet of theirs, is somehow related with the Archbishop of Gluttony as well, and that is why the White Whale has abilities similar to that, right? Where it can erase people's presence, erase people's memories of those that it afflicts, or something like that. No, that was really hard to guess. Some people commented on my last videos on the ending of season 1, saying that, you know, this should have been a better guess, I guess you could say. But come on, if they did mention that the White Whale was related with Gluttony somehow, and I missed it, then I apologize, I guess. But no, I did not get that kind of connection at all, right? And so, since there is this case where we have a higher being, a higher force, if you will, who possesses these kinds of abilities, I guess the way to restore everybody's memories would be to deflate Gluttony, question mark? Although, of course, it never really said that the effect wasn't permanent or whatnot. So even that is a very wild guess here. I mean, at the very least, I guess we can say it's very lucky that Rem and Karush weren't actually killed and they were only eaten by Gluttony, right? Otherwise, well, if Rem was actually dead, then there's really no turning back now. Subaru's save point had already been updated to a point where all this had already happened, so yeah, he would be in for it big time. Big time. But yeah, and the particular mechanics of how the authority of Gluttony works is also quite interesting as well, right? So up to now, before Karush, we've only basically been seeing those who had both erased, right? Well, I guess perhaps even only their name erased, since they were killed, so we don't really know if their memories were actually left intact or not. But typically it's always been both erased, and then with Karush we have a case where only memories are erased, right? So I do kind of feel like perhaps in the future we're also going to be seeing situations where only the name is erased. That could be a possibility, right? So that person retains their own memories and whatnot, but other people around that person would not have any knowledge of him as at all. I guess kind of similar to how Subaru would be, right? At least at the very, very, very beginning, where his reset point was still when he first stepped into this world. It's kind of similar situation to that. And you know, that actually got me thinking. So obviously it doesn't really work so much for Subaru if his name is erased. He can just simply reset once again. However, I feel like there's this very interesting and entertaining scenario where his memories get erased, but and that's it, right? Because if his memories are erased, then he doesn't know the fact that he can reset the timeline and whatnot. And I don't know. I just feel like that would be super compelling and interesting to watch as well, to see how his decisions or how his character might be a little bit different with his own memories being sealed, I guess you could say. And especially with the case of Karush, where we can see that even when the memories are sealed, there are still some underlying fundamentals that are there, right? And I mean, speaking of Karush, let's just get into her, right? So first of all, the first question I have is, wasn't her hand chopped off, right? I'm not seeing things, right? I specifically rewinded there and saw her hand flying out. And yet, clearly, at the end of this episode, with her holding Ferris's hands and all that, she had both hands, right? So I guess I'm assuming that the regeneration magic in this world is strong enough that you can even reattach limbs or grow your hand back out? Question mark? Yeah, I don't know. If that actually kind of differs from the light novel or whatnot, let me know about that. And the second interesting about this, about Karush, is so typically we always say that memories make up a person, right? If you remove that person's memories, is that really that same person anymore? Well, in Karush's case, we can see that even though she clearly lost a lot of her memories, like who she is and all those around her, her core essence still stayed the same, right? It's still, if it was the original Karush in that position, I feel like she would be saying the exact same thing. She's a woman of honor, and she's very, she values this kind of virtue and loyalty and whatnot. I feel like she would definitely uphold the agreement of an alliance, even under this kind of circumstances, if it was her old self, right? So it's nice to see that even when your memories are taken away, and then some aspects of your personalities are changed a little bit, but at its core, it's still the same, right? At the end there, with Krush having her declaring that she's going to make her own fate and she's going to continue to ally with Emilia, I felt like I was watching the original Karush. There was no difference there. So so I guess that's also part of the reason why I want to see Subaru with his memories being taken away and see what happens to him then, right? So anyways, that's it for this first episode. I mean, I guess there is the ending scene, of course, with Emilia and Subaru, but that's nothing new, so let's just leave it at that. So a nice little start here. Again, still quite bummed about how they actually chose to end the last season and integrate it here. But that actually gets me very curious. Like, if there are people here who only watch the TV anime, right? Were you really shocked at this scene, and to the point where it's it's like mind blowing, like OMFG, and that would make the first episode much more hype for you, right? If there are people like that who've only watched the TV anime, then let me know, and let me know what was for your mind during that particular scene. So there we go. That's it for the first episode, and like I said, I'll try to get the OVAs out probably this weekend or whenever I have time. But if that's not something that you're interested, I will see you guys next week for episode 2 as well. So stay tuned, and bye-bye.